look at the history of Rome, we need not forget the reforms made by the Gracchi. Tiberius Gracchus was the grandson of Scipio Africanus. He greatly pushed for the land reforms so that the poor citizens could have land of their own. Although he did support the people of Rome, many of the optimates did not approve.
Tiberius Gracchus, Publius Africani, ex filia Naples, Tribunus plebis creatus promulgatus, agrarius legibus in ultimum periculum adduxit rem publicam. Octavio enim collegae magistratum obrigavit et triumviros agris dividendas, creavit se sacrarumque suum appium et Graccum fratrum.
I'm here. I'm Dr. Res Republica. I am from Oxford University, and I've been living in California for about 4 years. I'm here to talk about Tiberius Gracchus in comparison to Barack Obama. They were both misunderstood. They were accused of being tyrants. They both represent the true definition of the Republic. They wanted to benefit the 99%, and this can be seen throughout common day history. Just like in modern day Rome, just like in modern day 2013, the government was shut down due to the lack of being able to make a decision. Tiberius shut down Rome until the law was passed. About separating the land in between the citizens and the military and taking back some of the things that were taken from the citizens. But sadly, he couldn't escape the persecution of the opposition, and he was killed, and he died a horrible death.
The triumvirate that had been formed by Tiberius Gracchus included Appius Claudius, his father-in-law, and his brother Gaius Gracchus. He created this triumvirate for the purpose of dividing up the land. However, they didn't really accomplish much. Even after his death, the whole entire triumvirate just fell apart.
Well, I do find the events of the Roman history of Tiberius Gracchus to be very interesting. You know, it shows us the traditional decision-making process of the Romans, always violently and destructively. Just like in the 3rd century crisis, when they went through 5 emperors in 1 year, they didn't know who to pick, and they just kept fighting each other and killing each other off until somebody else stepped up into power. And you can't forget Tiberius Gracchus' events is where we got our term benched. They didn't like what he was doing. He was setting up land reforms and changing the laws. And the rich people, they was like, nope, we ain't having that, and they benched him. In the midst of a riot, they took a fragment of a bench and just took him down.
The cause was not lost because Gaius Gracchus the Younger took up the cause of Tiberius the Senior and sought to make sure the reforms were put in place were implemented throughout Rome. Since he was trying to enforce the laws put in place by his brother, of course he had plenty of pushback. He was giving citizenship to the Italians. He was returning land that was given. He was evenly distributing it between the citizens and the generals. He wouldn't allow any citizen to have more than 500 acres of land. This pissed off the 1%. And so he was persecuted, and when word came that people were coming after him, he ordered his servants to affect him with death. And that's the story of the Gracchus brothers.
After retelling the events of Tiberius Gracchus, we can see why it is significant to the glorious history of Rome.